Praise the Lord, everyone. God bless you. Greetings in the matchless name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I thank God for you all who are joining us on today, who are here with us in person, and those of you who are watching us live on Facebooks. I bring you greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you for tuning in to Transforming Faith Ministries live noonday service. And I'm praying and I'm hoping and I'm believing and I'm pulling on the anointing of God that you will be blessed on today. Amen. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that you came with an expectation to hear what thus saith the Lord on today. Amen. Bless God forever, because I know I did. I came to hear what God is saying to his people at such a time as this. Amen. Hallelujah. So before we go ahead and we're going to get started, we're going to go into a word of prayer. But before we go into the word of prayer, I just want to introduce the speaker. The speaker is none other than my husband of almost 32 years. 32 years. Amen. Now that we've been married that long, where you got to think about it. Amen. Almost 32 years. We have been together as a couple for 32. But in November of this year, we'll be married 32 wonderful years. Amen. I thank God for the man of God. I thank God that God placed him in my life. He is my confidant. He is my friend. Amen. Hallelujah. And everything in between. And I just thank God for him. But you know what? The most I thank God for is his relationship with Jesus Christ. You know, and that's one of the things I always admired about him, is that he never was ashamed to say that he was a believer. Amen. In Jesus Christ. I thank God for his stance. I thank God for his tenacity. I thank God that he doesn't act like he has made it and arrived. Amen. Because we know people in ministry who act like when they go, amen. I don't know if you don't even go to the bathroom. And it don't stick. But I thank God for the man of God. I thank God for his continued humility, and that he is not ashamed to consult with his wife. Amen. Because you have some that say, I don't need your opinion. You want nothing but to help me get somewhere and sit down and keep your mouth closed. But he lets me know all the time that I am his partner. Amen. We are partners. We are in this thing together. Yeah. Amen. Bless God forever. But I thank God for him on today. Amen. We have been in ministry for 4 short years. Amen. And I just thank God for every single year that he has blessed us to be over Transforming Faith Ministries, where we while we are here to revolutionize the way people think in their approach to the gospel, because so many times we have been taught in error. Amen. We have been taught in error. There's this debate now where it's not debated, but it's being talked about, where Creflo Dollar came on, and he said it. I'm not putting words in his mouth. He gave instructions on tithing. He did. And he said he was wrong. He said, every tape that I sold you about tithing, throw it in the garbage, throw it away. Amen. Because people have made tithing a law. Like, if you don't tithe, you're going to hell. Amen. Bless God forever. But I thank God that for the tap into the anointing of God that Pastor Randy and I have, because we've been saying that since the conception of Transforming Faith Ministries. That it ain't about that. It ain't about what you got on. It ain't about your clothes. Amen. Hallelujah. Because you've seen me come up here with jeans on. Amen. And Pastor Randy, he loves to see me in dresses, but I like pants. Amen. I do. So if I wear a dress or a skirt, it's for him. Amen. But I like my pants. But I thank God for him on today. I thank because I love him so much. That's why I put on a dress every once in a while. Amen. Just for him. But I'm believing, God, that you will receive a word from on high on today, because we needed, saints of God, to sustain us, because I am sick and tired of the devil bombarding our gates. I'm sick of him coming into our territory, trying to take over into something that God has given me, has given us. I'm sick of him in my mind. I'm sick of him in my thoughts. I'm sick of him using people to conspire against me, because a lot of times that we're not even on their minds until the enemy drop a little nugget and say, you know what, go antagonize Melissa. That's my name's first name, Melissa. Go ahead and antagonize Melissa on today. I'm sick and tired of the devil, because I know what the word says. The word says that greater is he who is within me than he that is in the world. Amen. So if I serve the greater one, and if he is on the inside of me, I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to be ashamed of and concerned about. So if the enemy tries to come into my territory, I'm letting that booger know you have encroached on the wrong one today, because I serve the greater one. Get out my thoughts, get out my mind, get out my territory, anything that concerns me. Booger, leave me alone. Leave my children alone. Because if you come at me, amen, if you come at my children, you coming at me, because he knows that if he can't get to you, he's gonna go after your children. If he can't get to your children, we have grandchildren. He'll go after your grandchildren. Amen. Because we got a report on today about our granddaughter that just broke our heart. She's not here, she's in Houston. But I tell you what, saints of God, because we serve, and my husband and I, we are a team. We know how to bombard the gates of heaven and hell. Amen. Hallelujah. On the behalf of ours and on the behalf of yours. Because my word says that the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence taken by force. Amen. Hallelujah. So it's time for us to get violent. My husband uses this word all the time. He talks about being radical. So it's time for us to get radical when it comes to ours. Amen. Get off my back, get off my territory, get off my children, because we serve the greater one. And I thank God for my partner on today. Amen. I thank God for who he is. I thank God for my teammate. Amen. Amen, because we see things. Amen. Hallelujah. Together. We see it together. Hallelujah. And I bless God for him. So as we go into a word of prayer, amen, I'm encouraging you on today, saints of God, to get radical, to get violent. Amen. Hallelujah. To fight for yours. Amen. Hallelujah. Ain't no coincidence. What is that? That French term, que sera, whatever will be. The devil is a liar. No time for that. Amen. It's time for us to fight. Let us pray. Gracious and eternal Father, Lord God, we give you all the glory. We give you all the honor, and we give you all the praise. Father, we thank you, oh God, for who you are, God. We thank you right now, oh God, for being our soundness of mind, for being our activity of limb, oh God, because if you weren't in our lives, oh God, if you weren't real, oh God, I would have lost my mind a long time ago, oh God. Father, if you weren't within me, oh God, if you weren't in my life, oh God, that sickness would have taken me out, oh God. But so God, I thank you and I praise you. Father, it is in you whom I live, move, and have my very being. So I thank you on today. Father, I come to give you honor. I come to give you glory on today. I come to acknowledge you as my Lord and Savior, oh God. I come to usher your people, oh God, into your presence on today, oh God, to let them know, oh God, to worship you, oh God, in spirit and in truth, oh God, to put everything on the outside the door, outside the bedroom door, wherever you are, put every care, cast all the cares upon the Lord. Amen. Hallelujah. Because he cares for you, God. We thank you and we praise you right now, Father. We invite you in, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. And Father, as we invite you in, we surrender ourselves and we ask that you forgive us of our sin and you purge us and cleanse us, oh God, and you create in us a clean heart and you renew our minds on a daily basis, oh God, that God, you will give us the mindset and the desire, oh God, to die out to everything that is not like you, to become more like you. In the mighty name of Jesus, Father, we thank you and we praise you right now, oh God, and we lift up the man of God in the name of Jesus, God, that you pour your spirit upon him on today, oh God, that we don't want to hear from him on today. In the mighty name of Jesus, even though he is a man of wisdom, we don't want to hear from him on today, oh God, but he is a man that just loves your people. We want you to speak through him on today in the mighty name of Jesus. God, we are sick and tired of flesh dictating to us, oh God, on a day-to-day basis, oh God, but we want a relationship with you. We want to hear from you on today in the mighty name of Jesus. So Father, open up the gates of heaven, oh God, and pour your spirit upon the man of God like never before in the mighty name of Jesus. As you pour into him, oh God, as you increase him, oh God, allow your spirit, your anointing, your words to pour out of his mouth, oh God, and cause us to grow and cause us to increase in the mighty name of Jesus, Father. And we bind every demonic spirit in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God, that will come against your word and your power on today, oh God. In the mighty name of Jesus, we come against every hindering spirit in the mighty name of Jesus that will seek to stop your word on today, oh God. We come against every demonic force, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus that would impede your glory on today, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. So God, we thank you and we praise you right now because we let down our walls, oh God. We knock down the walls, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. And we say, God, we open up the gates. We knock down the walls in the mighty name of Jesus so you can come in the mighty name of Jesus. You are the King of glory, strong and mighty, mighty in battle. We thank you and we praise you, oh God, on today. So come in, oh God, like a flood. Come in like a rushing wind, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. Father, we thank you in advance for a Pentecost experience on today, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. An experience that would take us through the rest of the week, oh God, an experience that we would take in prayer with us, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, as we greet you, oh God, each day. Father, we thank you, we praise you, oh God, and we give you all the glory. We give you all the honor and the praise in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. We thank you right now, oh God, and we lift up, oh God, those, oh God, who are in Ukraine and Russia, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God, those Americans that were captured, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. Father, we lift them up, oh God, before you right now in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. Father, you maketh wars to cease, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. You cause them to cease on today, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. As we lift up, oh God, the arms of the oppressed, oh God. I even lift up the arms of my brothers and sisters, oh God, who are fighting the spiritual battle, who are fighting battles within their minds, who are fighting with their spouses, their children, their grandchildren, oh God, on their jobs, oh God. You are mighty in battle, Father. So we bless you, we praise you, God. We magnify your most holy name on today. Father, we glorify you on today, oh God. And we say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Use the man of God on today. And we give you all the glory, the honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. And as always, I will see you out at the end of service. Praise his name. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Bless the Lord, everybody. Hallelujah. God is so good, saints. He is so good. Hallelujah. Bless the Lord forever. Amen. I tell you, saints, I love him because if it had not been for him who was on my side, where would I be on today? Hallelujah. Bless the Lord. Is anybody else excited about Jesus Christ on today? I'm talking about for real. Not trying to fool nobody. Amen. But you just love him, you love him, you love him. Hallelujah. I do. Oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Saints of God, I'm so excited about you on today. Those of you all that are watching the service by way of Facebook and YouTube, I'm so grateful for you all that you all didn't think it robbery to be in fellowship with Transforming Faith Ministries, because there is a word from the Lord on today. I thank God for the people being in our homes, and please don't ask me to call names because I'm gonna mess them up, people. Amen. I'm just so grateful for the people that are in our home on today. Amen. I don't take it for granted at all, saints. I just love it when folk want to come out and worship God.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. I thank God for my wife. Amen. God just knew exactly what I needed, and he gave her to me. And I boast about her every opportunity that I get. You know, I was looking at that sister on yesterday and just started to chuckle, because I'm sure you have heard me say so many times that she should have had her own comedy show. She's in the wrong profession. If she had been in comedy, amen, we would have been locked in tight. Amen. Bless God. But she chose to do differently. Amen. And we just chuckle all the time because we really enjoy each other. We don't put on an air before you all. If you walk around our home and peek through our windows, the same way we are now is how we will be when you're peeking through the window looking at us. Amen. So I just thank God on today. Amen. Brother Gibbs, amen. Bless all your bones. Amen. I pray that God is well in your life. Amen. How many of you all have your Bibles on today? Amen. Bless the Lord. Just go ahead on and grab your Bibles, saints. Grab your Bibles. Amen. And turn, amen, to the new books of the Bible in Luke, the 12th chapter. And saints, all of you all, amen, that choose to be with us this Wednesday night for Bible study, feel free to come on out. And should you see somebody not there that told you that they was going to be there, don't make them feel bad. Just continue to open the door and give them the opportunity. Because there were so many people that told me that they was going to attend Bible study last Wednesday. But when study started, I didn't see any of those faces. But nevertheless, for those that were there, I pray that they did receive something from God. But we're just going to continue on in that vein on this Wednesday night as well. Bless the Lord. Talking about our freedom in Jesus Christ. Bless God. So I encourage you all, amen, press your way just to be in the number on Wednesday at 1900 hours at 7:00 p.m. Amen. Bless the Lord. That's Luke, the 12th chapter, beginning with verse number 13. And when you have it, just go ahead on and send up some likes and loves so we'll know that we can continue, amen, with our scripture reading. Amen. That's Luke, the 12th chapter, and we're going to commence with verse number 13. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or a divider over you? And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesseth. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. He thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. Let us pray. Spirit of the living God, in Jesus' name. Father, I thank you now, God, for the reading of your word. Lamb of God, I pray, God, that everybody that's able to hear the message or that will go and listen to it later on, I pray, Lamb of God, that this word will arrest them, God, right where they are, God, not for our sake, Father, but for your name's sake, that their lives will be changed and they'll continue to run with you to see what the end is going to be. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying unto the church this very hour. Lamb of God, we ask that you would forgive us of all of our sins, God. Forgive us, Father, for setting our eyes on the unclean thing, God. Forgive us, Father, for putting our hands on the unclean thing. Forgive us, Father, for speaking the unclean thing. Forgive us, Father, for going into unclean territory. Father, have mercy on us, God. Wash us all over again in your blood and make us whiter than snow. For Lamb of God, we stand, God, in love with you, desiring more of you. Help us on today, God, to get our heart's desire. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. And if I could choose for a topic today, saints of God, the topic will be, you are striving for the wrong thing. You say, man of God, what exactly are you trying to tell us on today? But I promise you, I'm not going to be before you very long. I'm going to say what thus saith the Lord, and then I'm going to step off with my left foot. Amen. But I just want you all to know, at some point in our lives, we have to get back in sync with what God will have for his people to do. You know, it's so amazing how on Thursday, I was moved from the area that I normally work in. And it was just excruciating. It was so painful physically, saints, to work in the area that I worked. But it was so amazing how the people that I worked with, they was chuckling because they thought I had it easy where I was working. They didn't think that I could do what I was required to do. So they would come by, make their little sly remarks, laughing, you know, talking under their breath, calling other people on the phone, talking about, go by and see where Millie is. Go by and see how he's moving. Amen. Bless the Lord. But saints, one thing about it, God will never leave his people, neither will he ever forsake us. I walked around all day long, body was hurting, saints, but I was saying all day long that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And I was able to maneuver 12 hours and never showed a grimace, not one time on my face, just to make that monkey close his mouth, just to see that this is a real believer. I got in that pod, amen. I got in a corner where nobody couldn't see me, and I threw up my hands and I just began to call on the Lord. And I began to make my boast in him, to invite him into that cell block that I was in, just for the sake, amen, of my sanity. And God held it all together so everybody could see who he really is. That's why, saints, I praise him the way I do. That's why I make my boast in him. Because as I said earlier, if it had not been for him who was on my side, I don't know where I would be, saints. But I tell you, saints of God, now that Friday, when I got off work, I felt every bit of it, saints. I did. But God upheld me just for those folk that was running their mouths. Hallelujah. And I honor him. Amen. We should not be so concerned with failing. That shouldn't be our focus as far as failing. No. Because for one, we're not a perfect people. We should fear, though, succeeding at the wrong thing. Good God Almighty. We shouldn't fear falling. We shouldn't fear not doing something for the sake of doing wrong. We shouldn't get caught up in that kind of stuff. Did you get it yet? But what we should fear, our greatest fear, should be succeeding at the wrong thing. And this is what was going on right here in our text. We run after success, saints. We run after people that don't want to have absolutely nothing to do with God. We run after wealth. We run, amen, after a clothing line. We run after an appearance just to appear before everybody else, to look like somebody else. And in doing so, we actually lose our identity just to fit in. We couldn't even be a born-again believer if we lived our lives just to fit in with the majority. Because the majority, you know what the word says, broad is the gate that leadeth to destruction, but narrow is the gate that takes us to Christ. Amen. And so we just can't even contend with those things. So we're being concerned, we're struggling, we're striving, we're paying more attention to the wrong thing. Sometimes we have to put our focus on things that motivate us, things that gives us comfort. But when the rubber hits the road, saints of God, those things that gave us that temporary comfort is no longer going to be able to do it for us. So when we can't get comfort in those temporary things, then where do we go? What do we do? Where are we resting? You know, I say all the time, as men, we should really be ashamed. Men, males, M-A-L-E, we should really be ashamed. You know, I have a brother here, amen, bless God. And him and I, you know, we both have wives. We know our makeup. But I guarantee you all, if I had a moment where I needed to run to that brother and put my head on his shoulder and weep, I know I would be welcome. And it wouldn't be anything said about it. I wouldn't be looked at sideways, this, that, and the other, as if to say that there's another agenda being made. It's just me moving in a vein so I can be comforted. But not all the time do we have that available to us. So if we don't have that available to us, then where do we go? That's why we have people running to medications. They run into these soothsayers. They run into these 1-800 lines, amen, wanting somebody to tell them about their future. Folk getting caught up in horoscopes, this, that, and the other. They find comfort in those things because they don't know the true and the living God. But now what Jesus is teaching in this passage of scripture, Jesus is teaching a young man. The young man approached Jesus about his older brother because his older brother had more of the inheritance. Mm-hmm. So the young man approached Jesus to stand as an advocate. Talk to my brother so that he will equally divide the inheritance. And so you would think right off the bat, because he went to Jesus, that Jesus would just step in and do it. Because he is our Lord and Savior. He is the Son of God. So you would think that that's what Jesus would do. But yet and still, Jesus asked him a question. Who made me judge over your affairs? So right now, he's just telling the young man, I'm not getting ready to get caught up in your family business. That's between you and your family. And that should put the brakes on a whole lot of us. Sometimes we got to hold our tongue. We don't need to get caught up in everything that's presented to us. I remember somebody told me a long time ago, just because doors are open, it does not mean that you're supposed to walk through. Sometimes you just need to continue moving in your direction and allow that door to remain open. It's not always for you, because we can do more harm than good. But in that, after Jesus answered the young man, asked him that question, who made me judge over your family affairs? Who said that I'm supposed to do this for you? But Jesus, y'all got to listen to this. Jesus turned to the disciples and he made a profound statement, saints of God, where he said, beware, beware, watch out for, take heed to, don't let this thing slip up on you, but you got to watch out for this thing. Be aware of covetousness. Always warning. You have enough right where you are, but you want it because it might be fashionable. It might be the trend. Everybody else has it, so I should have it too. But Jesus warned the disciples to beware of covetousness, because if you're not watching out for it, the same thing could fall at your feet. Beware of being greedy, wanting everything that everybody else has, just so you can be a part of the conversation. I got this. The only reason I don't have a flip phone right now is because the screen is too small. I just couldn't see it, saints. Amen. Bless the Lord. But I don't have the phone that I have just because somebody else has it and I want to be in the number. Actually, everything that I get, saints, my wife buy for me. I don't even get brought in on the conversation. She just tells me what I'm going to have and she presents it to me. And I just put a big smile on my face. Thank you, baby. Amen. Bless the Lord. And I'm just grateful. And just on a footnote, I'll tell you at the end of the service. Amen. Bless the Lord. Hallelujah. Got to tell you all about my mug. Amen. Bless the Lord. Hallelujah. But your life, saints of God, is not measured by what you own, but your life is measured by what owns you. And I'm going to say that again for the peanut gallery. Your life is not measured by what you own.
All right.
But your life is measured by what owns you. And you say, man of God, what are you really telling me right now? We get caught up with so many of these wealth, riches, amen, schoolings, amen, homes, automobiles, this, that, and the other. And folks see us having all these things, and that's what they talk about. But when they need to break through in prayer, they can't come to us and get a breakthrough. Although we are born again believers, they can't come to us because Christ is not owning us. We're just going through the motions. We have that form of godliness, but we're denying the power thereof. So our identity is based on what owns us, saints of God. And that's why I'm so excited, because I know I belong to Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. And you can't stop me from telling everybody about his goodness. Hallelujah. We see, saints of God, folk, they own so much. They got large bank accounts, big pocketbooks. Amen. And they flaunt it from time to time. It's okay. Bless the Lord. We got the highest degree that you can have. It's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. Amen. Bless God. But what we have to get our thought on is our attitude when we start gaining these things. It's nothing wrong with wealth. It's nothing wrong with riches. It's nothing wrong with having the best. Amen. Nothing at all. But we have to be aware of our attitude once we begin to put our hands on these things. As we get these wealths, are we still going to be able to lift our hands and say, God, I thank you? Are we still going to be able to stand in the midst of people that don't know God and say, God, I love you? It was you that made a way out of no way. It was you that walked with me when I was in the Department of Academia studying so I could get this particular degree. You walk with me now because I got it. I'm still going to stand and praise you until everybody that you did it. But saints of God, we're concerned about the wrong things. Hallelujah. This man had so much stuff that he didn't have enough room for new things to come in. And he was complaining, what do I do? I don't have any room to put nothing. Where am I going to put my increase now? There's nothing wrong with increase, saints. Because every time my wife and I get an increase, we tell God, thank you. But that doesn't change who we are. Amen. But the man said, as he recognized the fact that he didn't have room for the increase, he said, as you look in the scripture, he says that I would tear down the smaller barns and I'll build larger barns so that I can have room for my increase, so that I can have room for my other possessions. Think about it, saints of God. We're trying to grow in God. We want to grow in him according to his word. We want our barns to overflow. But every now and then, we can't get any larger. Thank you. This is a footnote, saints. We can't get any larger because we don't want to tear down and rebuild. We want to hold on to what we got and pack everything in there. That's why we don't know no more than those two scriptures, because we don't want to tear down and rebuild. But every now and then, saints of God, in order for God to pour into us, we have to tear down and make some room. But he was concerned about his wealth. So he made the decision that he's going to tear down the smaller barns, make larger barns so that he can have some room. And listen to this. Now he recognizes that he has enough stored up for years for himself. So now he can retire because he has enough for years for himself. He worked. He made it. Now spend it. Spend all you got on you. And don't worry about nobody else, but let it be all about you. Don't lay nothing up for a rainy day. This is yours. Go on and use it all. You made the money. Spend it yourself. Enjoy it. You worked for it. But one thing about it, saints, every decision that you make, everything that you're contemplating, make sure that you invite God in every single thing that you're doing. Because when you leave him out, Then as the man, it turns into you, and it has nothing to do with God. And we say, acknowledge him in all of our ways, and he shall direct our paths. But that's not what we do. We do what's comfortable for us. But saints, we're worried about the wrong thing. We want to make sure that we're getting everything so that we have a name, amen, in the neighborhood. We go to meetings, everybody knows who we are. The prominent people, they know who we are when we step on the scene in the meetings. They know where we live. They know what automobile we drive. They even know that we shop at Albertsons. They know all of these things about us because that's what we're seeking after. We're seeking to get caught up in these particular things, just like the man was so concerned about his riches. But the word says, fool, this night thou soul is required. Now, when I was growing up, we couldn't say the word fool. That was like cussing somebody. Yeah. You wore a different set of lips if you was ever heard call somebody a fool. Yeah. But it's in the word of God. Jesus said, fool, this night thou soul is required. When you store treasure for yourself and you have nothing for God, you a fool. You're worried about the wrong thing. If you don't know Jesus Christ, you a fool. Now, I'm not insulting anybody. This is what the word says, saints, and you all heard me read the scripture. Amen. Bless the Lord. You got education. You got money. You're known everywhere you go. But without God, you are a fool because you're worried and you're striving after the wrong thing. And now you're standing before God and you don't have any kingdom currency to draw from because you was running after this other stuff, but you weren't running after a prayer life. You weren't running after the 66 books of the Bible. You weren't running after the relationship with Christ. You weren't running after being steadfast in the word of God. Mm-hmm. You was running after all of these other things. But fool, this night, your soul is required. While you're traveling, saints, you do need some friends. You need some friends in your circle. Some friends that's going to tell you when you're wrong and not just team up with you to go and fight when you started the fight. You need someone that's going to speak truth in your ears. You need somebody that's going to tell you when you have gotten out of line as it pertains to the word of God. Somebody, you know, when we bump our heads and we don't feel like we can go on, but you need a friend, somebody that's going to grab you by your hand and just pray with you, not condemn you, but call on the name of Jesus Christ. That's the kind of friend you need. Somebody that's going to here. We're going to turn over our plates. Amen. We're going to watch what God does, amen, as we're sacrificing, as we're inviting him to come into our life. I'm going to grab you by the hand and I'm going to walk with you as God is the one that's guiding us to where we need to be. Those are the kind of friends that you need. Hallelujah. Don't be with people that have no hope in Jesus Christ. And what I mean by that, they believe in everything that comes their way. They have absolutely no conviction whatsoever. Whatever the crowd is saying, that's what they tend to go with. But you want to make sure that you linked up with somebody that's able to help you pray. You need to be in fellowship with the body of Christ.
Amen.
You need that, because that's what's going to keep you motivated. That's what's going to keep you leaning forward in the foxhole. That's what's going to push you further down the road. The wrong friend will pull you away from everything that you was taught to believe in as a child. And you wonder why you look at so many children that was raised in church, but as they get grown, you can't tell they went one day to church because they linked up with that wrong friend. And that wrong friend began to speak different things into their ears. And because their convictions started to fade away, they started to believe what that friend was telling them. And as a result of that, it pulled out of them everything that they used to believe in. So you have to make sure that you have some praying friends. You have to have some convictions, some things that you know to be true. Everywhere you go, saints of God, people make fun of us because we say that Jesus is the Son of God and that one day he's coming back for his people. You can laugh, you can snare, you can snarl, you can talk about me when I come and when I go. One thing about it, that's my conviction, and I believe in that, and I don't care what you say. I refuse to be moved in my mind as to say that it's another being that's going to come back for the people. People just don't believe anymore. Your conviction, saints of God, will hold you. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus died for all mankind. He was raised early one Sunday morning. He is coming back again. And one thing about it, saints of God, I believe when he comes back, I'm going back with him. Those are my convictions. And because they're my convictions, you can say whatever you want to say. And in your journey, take Jesus. Take the name of Jesus, because there is power in that name. Have you ever had your back against the wall and you didn't know anything at all to do, and the only thing that you could say was Jesus? Well, that's not the only thing that you could say. That's what you chose to say. You said Jesus, and that gave you a sense of peace. That gave you a sense of belonging. That gave you a sense to say, amen, I'm going to hold my head up because he is the one that's walking with me. And when you say it one time, you say it again, Jesus. Then you feel something a little different. You say it again because you start feeling good, Jesus. Then you find that you're able to stand up taller, holding your head up, because you're right there where Jesus wants you to be. In the midst of it all, you're calling on his name. There is power in the name of Jesus. Jesus is a present help in the time of trouble. He is the one that will carry you through. He will never leave you, neither will he ever forsake you. And the word tells us to lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he is the one that will direct our paths. So, saints of God, I tell you all on today, don't get caught up, amen, in the direction that the world is going, that they're seeking, amen, to gain so much of this wealth, so much of these riches, where they forget about Jesus Christ. Amen. Go ahead on and allow Jesus Christ to own you. Fall at his feet and say, Father, what must I do to be saved? I no longer want to be considered a fool, but I want to be considered a son of God. So now here I am, God. I invite you into my life. Amen. I no longer want start to run after this, that, and the other, that's only a temporary fix. Amen. That's going to give me temporary pleasure. But God, I'm running after you, because if I'm running after you, everything is going to be all right. And you are the one that's upholding me. You are the one that's keeping me. And when you come back, amen, when you crack the sky, I want to be found right. And I want to go back with you when you come. So, saints of God, I encourage you all, don't get caught up in these other things. Get caught up in your stability in Jesus Christ. Get caught up in laying aside the sin and the weight that will so easily beset us. Get caught up in those kind of things. And all this other stuff just really doesn't matter, because God will take care of you. You all continue to pray my strength in the Lord. I love you all. Bless the Lord.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Bless God forever. Amen. You are striving for the wrong thing. Amen. I was thinking about the scripture. Forgive me, I do not know the address, but the word says that where your heart is, that's where your treasure will be found also.
Yes.
Amen. Hallelujah. And I began to contemplate, where's my treasure?
Mm-hmm.
A treasure might be a ruby, a diamond, or a gem. And if I strive to accumulate a lot of those things, that's where my heart is.
Yes.
But when I'm in trouble, when I need something and I'm going through something, a ruby and a diamond and a gem ain't gonna do nothing for me but sparkle and look pretty and shiny.
Right about it.
So if I'm really concerned about myself, and my real treasure should be the things of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So when the enemy does come in like a flood, I can look in my treasure box and pull out the word of God, knowing that the Spirit of God will lift up a standard up against it. When I'm going through something, I don't care how much money I got in the bank. Millionaires are committing suicide, saints of God. Superstars, rock stars are committing suicide. Money didn't answer their problem. We need to be able to pull on something that's going to help us. The Spirit of God, the Word of God. That's where our treasure really should be found.
That's right.
The word calls us, like the man of God said, fools. It's foolish. It's foolish. Amen. I'm not going to repeat the message. Amen. But I do thank God for the message, because it should put our life into perspective. Do you really need another purse? Or is there a nonprofit that could use that money?
All right.
Do you really need a pair of shoes? Don't go there, Randy. Yes. Or could somebody else that don't have no food use that money?
Yes.
We see homeless people on the street. Yeah, some of them might not be legit, but some of them are, and they're hungry. Amen. But I thank God. I thank God that when troubles do arise, I know I can go to my storehouse and I can pull
that's
what
right.
I need.
That's right.
Because if my storehouse is cluttered with a whole bunch of junk and what I feel is treasure, I can't get to what I need. I can't get to what I need. You know, you got that closet, you open the door and everything fall out. My God. Bless God forever. Let us pray. Gracious and eternal Father, Lord God, we lift you up and Father, we magnify your holy name, God. We give you all the glory, God. We give you all the honor, Father. We give you all the praise, Father. We thank you and we praise you, oh God, that you're putting our lives in perspective, oh God, and you're shifting us to get back into position, oh God, and telling us, oh God, we're looking for the wrong things. We're striving for the wrong things, oh God, and we're worried about the world. We're worried about finances and bills and positions and jobs and titles when we've placed the things of God on the back burner. That's why we can be so easily overwhelmed with the cares of this life, because we don't really have a true reserve to pull from. But God, don't let us be like that foolish man that desired an inheritance, oh God, and he went and built and enlarged for the inheritance, but we're not enlarging ourselves. We're not enlarging ourselves for you, oh God. We're not enlarging ourselves, oh God. So it's time for us, oh God, to enlarge our territory, our borders, and our hearts and minds, oh so God, so there can be an increase, an influx of your word and your presence, oh God, so we can have what we really need to survive. We can have what we need to move on. We can have what we need to give to people, oh God. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, I give. I give the word. I give hope, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we thank you and we praise you right now for who you are, oh God. Father, give us to realize, oh God, that if we don't have you, we have nothing, oh God. If we don't have you, oh God, we're in a true deficit. In the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. Father, we thank you and we praise you, oh God, for who you are. Increase, oh God. Increase, oh God. Spiritual things, oh God. Increase in prayer, increase in word, increase when it comes to fasting, increase when it comes to sacrificing for you, oh God. I speak those things into the lives of your people, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. Seek ye first the kingdom, and everything else shall be added. Hallelujah. So, Father, we thank you, oh God, for the word, and we thank you for the messenger, oh God. And Father God, in the name of Jesus, oh God, Father, as I stretch my hands towards the man of God, Father, I ask that you pour into him, oh God, everything, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, that he has poured out unto your people, oh God, and he's poured out unto us on today, oh God. Pour back into him on today, Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, God. And Father, we bind the hand and the works of the enemy, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, that will come against the man of God, that will come against his mind, that will come against his body, that will come against his health, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we give your name the glory, honor, and praise, oh God. And everyone under the sound of my voice that is here live, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, and that's watching live, oh God, Father, place your hands upon them right now in the mighty name of Jesus. And I speak spiritual increase right now over your people, oh God, over us, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we thank you right now for increase, oh God. We thank you, oh God, for sensitizing our ears, oh God, so we can hear you clearer, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you for the heart and the mindset to cast all our cares upon you, oh God, because you care for us, oh God. We thank you and we praise you, oh God, that we won't run, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, oh God, for other therapy, oh God, before we go to you, oh God. You do that retail therapy, but God, we don't come to you, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, to seek you for an answer, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you, oh God, for contacting people, oh God, that will pour into us, oh God, the spiritual things, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus, for linking us up and sharpening us, oh God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we thank you and praise you right now, oh God. Have your way in the lives of your people, oh God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Go with us, lead us, guide us, and protect us, oh God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Remember those and incarcerating those who are in nursing homes and hospitals, Father. In the mighty name of Jesus, Father, I thank you and I praise you right now. Be with us on this week, oh God. Grant us safe passage to our destinations, oh God. In the mighty name of Jesus, oh God. And Father, we give your name the glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. Thank God for you. I tell you, I enjoyed the word of God on today, and I'm hoping and praying that you are blessed. I want you to go back, look at your notes, look at the message again, and I want you to write down your definition of what treasure is. What is it? What is treasure? What is it? And then make a list of what your treasures are and what you hold dear. And then go back and say, okay, now what do I hold dear when it comes to the things of God? And based upon my list, I'll know whether I've been foolish. Because I've laid up my treasure in the wrong thing. Sometimes, thanks to God, we can lay up our treasure in people. We can. We can lay up our treasure in people. But to God be the glory, amen. Pastor Randy, we'll call him up, amen, as we prepare to dismiss. Hallelujah.
Amen. Bless the Lord, saints. I tell you, I'm excited, amen, about who God is. I'm just so grateful for you all. And you know, it was dropped in my spirit, amen, that offense can happen when we listen to a scripture and we really don't have an understanding. And the offense would be the fool looking at how Jesus called the people fools because they was caught up in their treasures and forgetting about who the Son of Man was. That's what the whole idea was. So you all share it with everybody you hear that we don't stand, amen, in offense, but we stand to say what thus saith the Lord. Amen. Love you all. Don't get caught up striving after the wrong thing. Bless the Lord.
Amen. God bless you. Greet somebody, let them know you love them for real, for real. Amen.